We begin in Egypt, where there have been 2 explosions in the capital. The Interior Ministry says a device went off next to a police institute in the eastern part of Cairo, and a second bomb followed also in the east of the city. Saturday marks the 3rd anniversary of the uprising that removed President Hosni Mubarak from office. Well, only a day earlier, police were the target of 4 explosions. At least 6 people were killed and around 80 were injured. The biggest blast hit outside Cairo's main police headquarters. Well, our correspondent and producers have been detained in Egypt for nearly a month, so we are unable to report from there. But we do have Mike Hanna, who's reported extensively from Cairo, and he is monitoring events for us. So it is the anniversary today, Mike, and there have already been 2 explosions, again in Cairo.
Yes, it's very interesting is that all the explosions we've seen over the past 48 hours clearly connected to this 3rd anniversary of the revolution, all of them happening in Egypt's biggest city. Now, this very clearly would be a message, it would appear, from the perpetrators making the statement that they can carry out these attacks despite the intense security measures that have been put in place by the interim government and its security forces. So
just how worrying a start to the day is this, given that both the supporters, both opponents of this military-backed interim government are calling on people to come out and take to the streets to protest today?
Well, there was always the potential for major clashes between supporters of the interim government and those opposed to it. Yesterday passed off relatively calmly on that particular basis. Very few, well, a scattered instance of demonstrations across the country. As far as this morning goes, all evident in the streets at the moment are small groups of those in support of the interim government. No sign yet of those who are actually opposed to it. Whether these demonstrations are going to materialize, very difficult to predict. One must remember too that very rigid laws are in place governing demonstrations that are not legal. In other words, demonstrations that are not given a license by the local governor. So certainly that plays into it. The concept, the blasts that we've seen as well over the past 48 hours may also tend to scare many away who were going to be intent on peaceful protest, either against the interim government or indeed in favor of it. So certainly these explosions have played into perhaps dampening the situation to a certain extent, although they are a reminder of the intensity of the conflict that is happening there. Bombings in Egypt are not that common, particularly not a chain of bombings that we are seeing in the capital itself.
Thank you very much for that, Mike.